CASA is an organization that takes care of children in the foster care system, and we do that by advocating for their best interests at finding hopeful futures. For a child whose life has been turned upside down by trauma, by neglect, by abuse, and sometimes even torture, the road forward is a very difficult one. And what our CASAs do is provide a consistent presence in that child's life, and the benefits of that are innumerable.
My first assignment was a teenage girl, she's 15. She was removed from home for sexual abuse. She ended up telling a friend at school, and then the friend told a counselor, and so that's how CPS got involved. She was diagnosed with PTSD, and she had suicidal ideations. She was a cutter. If she was hurting, she would hurt herself more to stop the other hurt, and had to go to the hospital several times, had thought about suicide, about how she might do it, and so we had to keep a close eye on her. One of the big things that happened that really helped her with trusting me was, at one point, her social worker wanted to change placements for her. And so I was invited to the team meeting, which was nice. I talked with the child and the resource parents, and they didn't want her to leave. I was able to listen and then share the child's concern and what the resource family wanted for the child. Then she saw that, oh, she cares about my best interest, not just what the system wants for me. She knows me.
Not only is the personal trauma significant, but the journey through a foster care placement becomes tumultuous for a child whose trauma results in self-hurting, and where a social worker is not always seeing all the sides of the story. The CASA steps in alongside that social worker, being someone who spends time with that child on a weekly basis, and to really speak up for a future that leads to the best end game for that child.
Their attorneys change within the system, the social workers change within the system, and their doctors change, therapists change, everybody's changing. Their placement changes. They have different families. They're gonna sleep in a bed that they've never slept in before with people that they don't know. Having at least one person that is constant and that stable piece in your life, that can save a kid. Knowing that I was gonna get to be a piece of helping her to go through the motions of life as she was trying to go through it at first, and to watch her deal with things and how she learned to speak up for herself and the confidence that she gained. There was a lot of joy for me to be able to be a part of that. We both enjoy eating, and she likes to experiment with different kinds of foods. She's a bit of a foodie. She's a good cook. She likes to bake. She makes really beautiful cakes, and she makes cookies and cupcakes, and so baking is something that she's always loved. I think that has been helpful for her to be able to share in those situations. We have gone to the coast. We went over and went to the tide pools, and then we went to Avila Beach, and it was a great day. It was also a really nice release for my CASA girl.
A court-appointed special advocate has the privilege of spending weekly time with a child. That relationship builds trust that allows a child to share more than they might share in other situations. That relationship builds stability that creates a firm pathway forward for that child. That relationship allows an advocate to see things that might be missed in other circumstances, to bring the whole picture together in a very harmonious way that leads to the best possible results.
When we were together, just being open and not shocked with what she might say or how she might dress if we're going to go to dinner or something, just allowing her to be exactly who she is and letting her know that that is fine, you're good enough. You know, I love you just like you are, so come on, let's go to dinner. Letting her know that she's not alone, helping her know that I'm sorry. You know, I'm so sorry that happened to you, and I'm going to be here to help you move past it. She's been with the same family the entire time that she's been in foster care. She's now in college. She goes to UC Berkeley, is doing well, and we're excited for her. She has a chance to become a productive member of society now. 4 years ago, I'm not so sure. I don't even know if she would have been alive.
I think Sherry's case is an example of how that CASA really brings closure to what could be a difficult situation, but turns out to be a victorious one when there's that other set of eyes and a diligent, passionate voice on behalf of the child in that case.
That's a human. You're helping to shape their future and their life. Saving one is worth it.
In general, children with advocates fare far better. Kids aren't meant to be raised by systems. They're meant to be raised in families. And when the family fails, the journey forward is really hard. But with that CASA alongside, over and over and over again, we see children avoiding the pitfalls that other children in the system fall prey to. Statistically, they finish high school better. Statistically, they go to college more often. Statistically, they avoid jail time. Statistically, they don't get involved in drugs and alcohol abuse in the same way that other kids do. Statistically, children win more often with a CASA on their side.